Welcome to my YouTube channel. Here I am again. It's been a little while, but today we are doing a how-to on how to use my depth guides for working with polymer clay, for making the perfect slab, for getting the perfect finish. I'm so excited to share this with you today. Let's get into it. Alright, so you can see right here, these are my large depth guides. They're about 4.5 mil in depth. And I'm going to show you exactly how to use them. So you lay them down on your work surface, grab a little bit of clay. This is my classic mustard mix, which is 1 part canary, 1 part latte from the Souffle brand in Sculpey Primo. You need an acrylic roller, and all you're going to do now is roll your base down. So this is just getting your little pizza base ready for adding all your layers for your slab, etc., for adding your patterns on. But the large depth guides give you the perfect base depth to work with. Okay, so the whole point and what I designed with my depth guides is that you have large depth guides and small depth guides. The large ones get your base depth, the small ones are what you finish with. So as you can see, I've rolled my base and I pop it on a piece of baking paper. Now, I don't put it on baking paper when I'm first rolling it because I like to have the grip of the tile surface. So generally, oh, now she's going in. Okay, so we're doing this, which we're actually going to be getting rid of some air bubbles here now. So you can see I'm just slicing, and then I'll just use my finger to push the air out. This is the best time to get these types of things sorted, all right? So right in the beginning, at the base depth, is when you want to be doing this sort of stuff. The second thing that I do whenever I've rolled my base out is use rubbing alcohol or isocol, a cotton tip, and I like to just go over and see if there's any, you know, lint, dust hair, cat hair, whatever. There's always something, isn't there? And because this clay here is actually scrap clay, that's why there's more air bubbles. I didn't want to do a big slab for this demo or this tutorial because I just didn't want to be spending hours covering it. So I've just done little ones, but it kind of makes sense, right? Yeah, so the most important thing with my depth guides is that they're actually brought as a set, large guides and small guides, because otherwise it just defeats the whole purpose of using them, really. Oh, I mean, how long does it fucking take? Come on. I mean, white, blah, blah, blah. I love this. It's so fun doing this process. Can I tell you, when I record these, hilarious, because I do it with no sound. And I know what I want to say and I know how long I need to do. So anyway, it's a whole process, guys. It's a whole process. Anyway, so what did you do on your weekend? No, I'm just kidding. All right, let's get into the next step. The next step is going to be adding something to the top. Now, I've kept it super simple for the purpose of the demonstration here. All we're doing is I'm using a beautiful blush pink color that I've mixed myself. Now, whenever you're putting patterns onto your base or onto your slab, you need to make sure that they're nice and thin. So you don't need to use the guides for that. You can either pop your clay through on the thinnest setting on your in your passer machine, or you can just roll it thin like I did. I'm doing a very simple ripping technique, which I've sped up, by the way, because it was taking forever. So I'm doing a very simple technique where it's just basically ripping the clay onto the surface. It's effective. It's kind of easy, and it's really good if you're doing multi-components or pattern clashing. You can just have something super simple. And you're going to see in a minute that I end up texturing this, which then takes it to the next level. So, yeah. I would have done, and I probably will do in some other videos, some more intricate designs, but it's really just showing you that process. So obviously we started with those large guides and we just got our base depth, and then we're going to move on. Once we've done all our patterns and bits and pieces, then we move on to using our small guides. Oh yes, good placement, good placement. Come on, you've got this, you've got this. Feels like it's taken 10 years. I'm so sorry, but you know, you don't know when to fast forward, when to cut. Just one of those things. All right, So all the patterns on there looks cute, colours look cute together. And then what we're going to, you can see how thick that is. So that's 4.5 mil thick. Take it off the baking paper now, and I most likely think I'm going to grab my small guides. Oh yes, place it properly, make sure it's all clean and tidy. Alright, so these are my small guides. They are about 3 mil in thickness. Now when it comes to acrylic, if you know, have a look on my website or just have a look on my Instagram. I have a whole lot of different colours, glitters, translucent colours, frosted colours. Oh yes, here I am showing you the difference in depth. 4.5 mil is the large in the black, and then the thinner 3 mil. Alright, and that's just showing you the difference. These ones here are my favourite, which is the golden glitter. Obviously doing the same thing we did with the large guides, placing one either side, getting our acrylic roller. Now I like to give everything a little bit of a wipe down so there's no colour transfer. Alright, usually just with a baby wipe. And then now the key thing when we're rolling down is that we pick it up between every single roll. So you can see here that each time I roll back and forth, I will generally pick it up. Now, you don't need to put a lot of pressure. I definitely wouldn't be putting a lot of pressure if you've got really specific patterns. What I like to do is I will just actually turn it just like a little tiny bit each time. So I don't do like a 90-degree or a 180 turn. I just actually do a little tiny bit, go over it. I don't put too much pressure on, and then I find that the patterns just sort of work perfectly. So you're going to see. Now you know that it's done when you're not, you're not spreading it out anymore, and that the acrylic roller has basically met the guides. I don't know why I'm rubbing it like that so much. I don't know what I'm doing there. Okay, whatever. So yeah. Now the whole point of going from the large to the small is that you are then amalgamating that pattern in perfectly. See how smooth that is? Yeah. Hello, perfect. Love it. And that's that. How simple is that, guys? Back on the baking paper, and now we're going to do our texturing. So we're going to use some different tools to texture the slab, give it a little bit of point of difference. So after you've rolled down, then you do your texture, you add your foil, etc. Oh, here we go. She's back in with the icicle again. I mean, anyone would think this was the hairiest slab on earth. It's true, there was a lot of lint on there, I'm not going to lie. Because the clay actually came out of my scrap drawer. So, yeah, that's why I'm doing that. I probably could have fast forwarded it, but, well, we wouldn't have all this witty banter if I did that, would we? Honestly. Oh, I'm having a drink. Yeah, so this is also another good point. Throughout the whole process, and something that I'm really strong on is working cleanly. So that means, yeah, picking up the lint throughout, not just waiting until the end, making sure that all my tools are clean, making sure my surface is clean. It's the only way, guys, to get a beautiful professional looking finish is to work clean, okay? Right, what are we doing now? All right, we're finding some texturing tools. Oh, we're close up on this one. Wow, this is fancy. Really, I just discovered that you can actually zoom in. I didn't realize this. I'm learning as we go, guys, learning as we go. All right, so I've got a dotting tool. This is a cute dotting tool. It's got like some little fancy things inside it. And we're just going to do a whole lot of dots. Now, I think that I might actually skip through this quite fast. But, yeah, I'm obsessed with just doing dots and stripes and bits and pieces just to, like, give my slab a point of difference, if I'm honest with you. Oh, this is very cathartic to watch. Oh, it's fun to watch this back. I mean, I should just record myself and just watch myself doing this. Is that weird? It's weird. Okay, I'm not going to do that. So when I'm doing texture, one of the things that I think about a lot of the time is just sort of how I'm placing it. So I tend to just like, I try to do something different every time, because each time you cut from a slab, you're going to be cutting from a different area in the slab as well. So it's important just to sort of move your, so that's why I have it on baking paper, so I can move my slab around, and then just make sure that everything is, so it's not all just going one way, if you know what I mean, so that we're always just changing up the angle of what we're doing. I really should have fast forwarded this. Okay, so let's just enjoy this to some music in the background. Oh, hey, me again. I just wanted to quickly talk to the fact that you will have seen me just change tools for the texturing. So this tool is a needle tool, and I absolutely swear by it. I'm going to have it available in my restocks on my website, but it's just one of those tools. It's just so good. It's basically just a metal skewer, but you're able to run it through the clay a lot easier than you would if you were going to be trying to use like a wooden skewer. So I highly recommend it for texture. It does amazing dots. I also use it to punch holes in my earring cards, just for multi-purpose reasons, you know. But yeah, I'm finally seeming to get to the end of this texturing. I mean, I think we've had like 15 minutes of me putting texture in my slab, but yeah, I thought I'd just say that was definitely one of my favorites. So dotting tool and a needle tool are top of my list for texturing. Other tools that I like are embossing sets that you can buy, and basically, you know, whatever you find that you like the texture of, just use it. It doesn't have to be a fancy tool. Okay, all right, so all right, we're nearing the end. We're nearing the end of the texturing. I probably should cut some of this out, but I mean, right, we like to watch this. Okay, so we're taking it, yep. Oh, that does actually look quite good. Amazing, amazing. Now, if ever you find that you've got an air bubble at this point, I would actually just leave it, and I tend to cut around them when I'm doing my shape cutting. All right, so now we're into the fun part. I love cutting a slab up. It's probably one of my favorite things to do, and I've got a whole selection. So these shape cutters here are brand new. They are from Blackbird and Violet, who I'll link below, and they're Melbourne-based Australian makers that make beautiful shape cutters and unique shapes. I don't know what I was going to say with that. And I have a big collection because they're also friends of mine. So yeah, I love them. The arches, the capsules, all of those. They're super cool. The other ones I have here are from, what have I got? What am I going to show you next? These ones are from Blue Beetle and Co., who are new on the scene of making shape cutters. These are actually my sample ones, and they actually come in this pink, not the black. So the Blue Beetle Co. shape cutters have a beautiful thin edge. These are 3D plastic printed. The makers that make them are amazing, and also he's an engineer. These ones here are from Metal Clay Studio in Russia. The little number on the back is actually the diameter of the shape cutter. They have awesome shapes. Love their shapes. They're all sort of like geometric-y type stuff. And they're amazing. These ones here are from a company called GF Art. And they're probably like the highest quality cutters on the market. And they're also from Russia. They also do the awesome Geo Drops as well, which is one of my favorite shapes. So those are also GF Arts as well. The old plunge cutter, mate. Love the good plunge. That's terrible. That's terrible. I love plunge cutters. They're great for small pieces. They don't have any edges on them, and they're easy to use. And also, obviously, a stainless steel cutter. I'm a big fan. Nice crisp cuts, although you have that little join that you can see there, which is annoying, but very, very easy to get rid of in the sanding and finishing process. So yeah, those are the ones I've got to play with today. And yeah, I just thought I would cut some components out. Probably going to use my favourites at the moment, which are the long capsules. Yes, yes. Now, whenever I'm cutting out from a slab, I tend to do it on a piece of baking paper. The reason is that it doesn't get stuck to the tile. It goes into the cutter, and then I just use, like, pop it out with my finger. Oh yes, place it properly, place it properly. And literally that's what I do. So whenever I'm putting my components together, and I think I've talked about this in other videos, it's really important to me that I have the space next to me just to lay them out the way that I want them. And yeah, it just gives me sort of like that overall visual of how they're coming together and what I need to do. So I'll just do that, literally is what I'll do. Also, we're trying to use as much of the slab as possible. So we're obviously cutting very close and very, you know, sort of very mindfully around that slab, not to waste any clay. Oh yes, we're going in with the floral shape. It's about as floral as I go these days, guys, if I'm honest with you. With stainless steel, you just find it so easy to use. I think the only downside is that little bit of stainless steel join, but I mean, really, who cares? So this slab that we've made, the base was, I'm pretty sure, half a bar of clay. So that would be, yeah, so I'm pretty sure it's half a bar of clay. So that, I think it makes us like 6 pairs of earrings or something like that. So this is the size that I encourage my students in my workshop to make. And the real reason for that is just so that you can actually experiment more throughout the time that you're making. And you're not just making like, you know, you're not just spending your entire time making one huge slab that you might not like at the end of it. So yeah, we tend to make smaller slabs. And I actually like that because I just, yeah, like I said, I think it gives you more time to do a bit of experimenting. Those are the arch, I think they're the long arches by by Blackbird and Violet. So yeah, they're cool shapes. So whenever I am cutting from a slab, I'll generally do some main components and some tops as well, because I'm about to make another slab. So you can actually see 2 slabs getting made in this video today. Cute. Who else just loves mustard and dusty pink together? So whenever I'm finished with a slab skeleton like that, I'll tend to mix it up exactly like I'm doing there, which just means it's going to turn into one colour. And possibly it'll be very, very similar to the original mustard colour, but it'll be slightly lighter because of the pink that was left in it. And then I'm just going to put that aside and I'll use that again later on. So what do we get out of that? We got 3 main components and a set of tops, so that's pretty cool. So this other color that I'm sort of just trying to decide what I want to go with that mustard, and I'm pretty sure I've decided to go with a color mix, which is my Gem Blue, which is a color that I use in one of my popular colorways. I think I'm about to show you my tile. So these tiles are samples and color recipes that I've put together, inspired by Hello Robbo, a friend of mine, who makes these tiles for every color she uses and every color of clay, whereas I make them just for my color mixes. So you can see that that one's cured, and you can see in the raw state what it looks like, and on the back I've written the color recipe. So handy. I actually can't live without them now. So those are some, and I haven't even made all of them, some of my favorite color recipes or color recipes I want to remember. So if you're interested in that, go over to Fry Clay on Instagram and look up under Hello Robbo, and there's a whole lot of information on the tiles. All right, so we're going back to the beginning. We've got our base color, which is the Gem Blue. We've got our large depth guides and our acrylic roller, which we're going to give it a quick wipe my hands because I was just working with a different color. Okay, we're going deep. We're wiping the depth guides as well. Great, great. Oh, and the work surface. She's so clean. Okay, yep, double it up, mate. Get it super clean. All right. So what I'll do is I'll generally just warm the clay up quickly, roll it into a ball, just so that there's I find it just the best way to start a slab off. Like you can start it from like folded if you've just like conditioned it in your clay machine, but I just find if you roll it into a ball like that, you don't have any edges that you can't cut from, if you know what I mean. Like there's no folded edges. So it's just okay, she's finally rolling. So this is also just a piece of scrap clay that I had sitting aside. I think it's the clay I used to make the tile for the colour recipe. Oh, and I love that blue. It's so cute. So obviously this is super small, but I really only wanted to get a couple of components out of it. So it wasn't like I needed it to be, huge, especially not for the purpose of this video. Okay, she's rubbing it again. Oh, we're delinting again. Hello, story of my life. This is all I seem to do in this video is like delint everything. Okay. And I think what I have planned for this is that we're going to do some dashes on top. So I'll show you my my little how I do a dash. I don't roll it into a snake. I actually cut the dashes from, like you'll see in a second, after I've spent 10 hours taking hair and lint off it. Okay, so what are we doing, Cherie? Okay, taking it off, putting it back on. Not sure. Okay, putting it aside. All right, so here's some navy clay that I had aside. So it's just scrap that I had sitting there. I'm just going to roll it out. Oh, I'm going to go green. No, the green's not going to work. Why you even? No. Back to the navy. Thank you. Oh, copper. No. All right. So what we're going to do is roll the navy out, and it's probably going to be, I don't know, probably like a mil thick, maybe 2. And then I'm going to slice using a tissue slicing blade, which is like just a long stainless steel blade. We're going to just slice some little strips out as soon as I find it. Oh, there it is. Oh, right, there it is. It's just behind you. Oh, God, I mean, get it together. So we take the edge off. We decide how thick we want our dashes. And we just slice. And then we've got these little ribbons of clay that we can then just literally slice our dashes off. You're going to see me do it. I'm going to let you listen to some music whilst you watch me do dashes. Hi. I can see that we're finally getting to the end of the dashes. Did you love watching this process? It's actually such a super simple little trick or technique that you can use to do something totally different. So obviously now we're going to roll down and amalgamate those dashes using our small guides. Cute. I love how I've zoomed right in for this. Yeah. And whenever I do that first roll, I'm always very gentle because I don't want to pick up any of them and move them. And you can sort of see here, especially with shapes like dashes or circles or anything that you want to hold its shape and not sort of stretch and look funny, that single roll life and the little turn is the key technique, guys, the key technique. So we just obviously roll until we get to the depth of the guides, and boom, we're good to go. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to use this little tiny slab to just cut out some final components for our pieces that we've made. Now, I didn't have to make 2 slabs. I guess for me, I just wanted to share a couple more techniques with you. I've got a couple more things coming up as well. I mean, that was very close, wasn't it? But yeah, you can just see the quality of that slab using the guides as a, you know, as a tool to make just the perfect sort of look. Alright, so we're going in with the deco drop first, which kind of goes perfectly with those tops, so that's super cute. This shape cutter is by Blackbird and Violet. Again, like I said, local Melbourne makers who have just gotten into making 3D printed shape cutters, and they're doing a great job. And what are we going to do next? Oh, we need some, move those over. Oh, I spend all my time just moving components around. Living my best life. Alright, so pretty sure I want to do some little tops for those. I'm going to use my plunge cutter. Perfect. What I love about the plunge cutter is that you have absolutely no lines. So with this, yeah, it's just really crisp edge and a nice crisp cut. Perfect, super cute. I like it, I like it. All right, we'll move those. I mean, what am I doing with my life right now? Again, I'm trying to use as much of the slab as I possibly can to ensure that I don't waste too much of it. However, what I do want to show you, which is coming up in a minute, is just a couple of things that you can do with a skeleton, or it's what I call it. I call it a skeleton. Basically, after a slab is cut, it kind of looks like a little bit of a slab skeleton. So with that, I just wanted to show you like a couple of things that you can do. But we're just going to take some time here and cut some components. And yeah, I'll check in again in a minute. Okay, so we now have this little skeleton, which I'm going to mush up into a ball. We've cut all our cute components out, you can see them there. Always takes me a little bit of time to get it right, get it perfect, lay them out, blah, 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 blah. But what I wanted to show you was just a couple of things that you can do with that skeleton of a slab that you have left. The first thing is grab some other navy clay, stick it together, roll them together, and like that's just any contrasting scrap basically, and you can make a marble. So I used the leftover skeleton plus a little bit of scrap navy that we had left over from doing the dashes, and we're literally just rolling it, twisting it, rolling it, twisting it to mix those colors together and have a beautiful marble clay that you can use. Now, a couple of uses for it. You could do basic components, just like plain marbled ones, or you could make a trinket dish, or you could use it as a slab base, whatever you like. I just think it looks kind of cute. So once I feel like I like the mix of the colors together, I roll it up into a ball just like that. Grab my small guides. Oh, close up. Because my thought is that I would just do it as like a trinket dish or something like that. And then roll it out. How cute is that marble pattern? Amazing. So yeah, you could cut a few components from that, just have some simple little dangles, or you could use it for a trinket dish, whatever you like. The next thing that I want to show you, I mean, how beautiful is that? It's actually super pretty. The next thing that I want to show you, I kind of can't show you, but you can just mix those two together through your clay machine and literally just have a whole new color. So whenever I'm working with my clay machine, it's just out of shot here, but I fold it in half and I always put the folded edge towards the side, and so the way that I was holding it right there is the way that it goes into my clay machine, and that's just to help me avoid air bubbles. And then yeah, basically you've just got like a lighter blue that you can use for something else later on. I think that'll turn out cute. So I've got a little container that I've been using lately that's got my colour recipes in it and just sort of the colours that I'm using at the moment. So I try to use up all of these little scraps before I delve into my huge scrap drawer. But yeah, those are all the ones that I made my tiles with, and I'm just basically going through and using those up for things like demos, etc. I mean, cute. Anyway, so these are the finished components. This is my tutorial for my guides. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I hope that it's been informative and that it's shown you exactly how to use your guides and the reason why you have the large and the small. There's no point in just having the small guides, and there's no point in just having the large guides. You need to have both for the process to work. But I'm pretty proud of my products. I'm pretty proud of my tools. The next little one that I'm going to do is going to be on my shaper tool and presser tool. So I'll see you for those. Bye. Yes, I mean, look how amazing these look. All done with my depth guides. Living our best life. Living our best contemporary clay life, guys. Enjoy. Bye.